There is one power in the universe. It is omniscience, omnipotence, omnipresence. It's all powerful, all knowing, everywhere present equally, which means it's right here where I am, being me. It is with that understanding that I come to acknowledge and recognize the power that resides at the very core of my being. I acknowledge and recognize that this power is love, that it flows and moves through my conscious creative use of it. I know that my thinking moves it into form, and so I'm clear about what I think, how I think. As I surrender my life into this divine mystery, I do so consciously. And I accept that this day is absolutely a remarkable gift, a beautiful blessing. It is a time of possibility. And so as I acknowledge that I am part of this powerful universe, I also acknowledge that I know who I am. I know who I am. I love who I am. I honor and respect life, and in so doing, touch the very fabric of existence for all life everywhere, lifting, raising consciousness. All is well, all is well. It is with this attitude of gratitude in this place of celebration that I know this day truly is a gift and a blessing. I accept this truth with a truly grateful heart, and I release these ideas into the law of mind. It is done, and so it is.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Kathy, and I'm sharing with you our land acknowledgement. We're honored to be meeting on this land that many First Nations, Inuit, and Métis people from across Turtle Island call home. We acknowledge and thank the original caretakers and knowledge keepers of this territory, the Mississaugas of the Credit, the Anishinaabe, the Chippewa, the Haudenosaunee, and the Wendat. We also give thanks to all other Indigenous peoples, recorded and unrecorded, who have shared responsibility for this territory. In honoring the Dish with One Spoon Treaty, which protects this territory, we accept our responsibility to peaceably share and care for the resources that surround us. We also acknowledge, as inhabitants of these lands, that inequity and discrimination continue to affect our BIPOC and 2SL LGBTQ+ family. We therefore strive to be allies and take an active part in reconciliation. Recognizing our ultimate oneness and acknowledging our reality, past and present, we commit to moving forward in a spirit of mutual cooperation. We are one. Please take a moment to honor the stewards of the land where you find yourself. Our vision at CSL on the Lake is transforming our world through the emergence of our authentic self. And our mission is to welcome you as you are where you are, without judgment or criticism, providing a sacred place of learning and growing as you seek to achieve your greatest dreams. We accomplish this by offering Science of Mind classes, social events, inspiring workshops, thought-provoking services, and practitioner support. We honor the revelation of your emerging authentic self through our positive messaging and loving support.
One power. There's a power within each one of us that is life itself. And whether we call it by God or spirit, universe, first cause, the name is irrelevant because no name could ever describe it, encapsulate it. This power that is within us is infinite and eternal, and we have no real understanding of it. But boy, do we try. We really want to understand. But in all our trying, I think we miss the very essence of this divine mystery. Within each one of us, there is an infinite creative intelligence. It's not something that shows up if you behave on a Saturday night. It's not something that shows up because you decided to forgive someone. It is the essence of all that you are, all that I am. It has always been, always will be, cannot be destroyed. And no matter what we have experienced in our lifetimes, we have not been touched by any outer event. The essence of us is perfect, whole, and complete, now, always, and forever. Now, what moves that energy, of course, is the thoughts that we think, the words that we speak. And unfortunately, we've chosen language in a way that diminishes and limits us, that makes us seem small because we have listened to the stories we were told when we were younger. We heard all of these messages and we decided to accept many of them as fact. So maybe somebody said to you when you were little, oh, shut up and be quiet. You're making too much noise. Oh, don't expect too much because you'll get disappointed. There's all these messages that came that gave us a sense that somehow we were less than enough, that somehow we were not lovable, acceptable as we are. So it's up to us. This spiritual journey that we're on is not about becoming spiritual, because that is what we are. We are spiritual beings. What it allows us to do is come to terms with the human existence, because as human beings, we have bought into the idea of limitation. We've bought into the manifest world as truth, as fact, as the real thing. And we have missed out on that divine spark within us, which in fact is capital T truth, that part of us that knows who we are, that's always known who we are. And so as we journey along, I know there's some of you who have had epiphany moments in time where all of a sudden there was just a flash of insight, that you knew something more than what you could possibly know from your human experience. And that flash of insight is always available to us. It's always present there. It's just that we have learned to ignore it because as children, we were told no more than yes. And so we doubt all the time. There's a spark of intuition that comes up and we go, oh yeah, but I don't know how. Or, oh, why would I do that? That doesn't make sense. And we'll set it aside. But the truth is that inspiration comes from that still small voice, that divine essence within us. It is the spark that is leading us into our greatest expression of life. It is up to us to find that spark, find that identity. And the reason we don't is because we've bought into the other. We've bought into the idea that somehow someone else knew who we were and decided we weren't good enough. And I'm here to tell you that's all lies. That's not true. The truth is that each and every person on the planet has been created perfect, whole, and complete in the image and of the likeness of the Creator. In the image and of the likeness. Now, we already know that doesn't mean that, God or spirit or universe is, 5'2" with kind of purple hair. And that's not what it means. It means that everything is energy, that there's only one thing going on, and we live, move, and have our being in it. It is being us, not separate from, different than. Every cell of my body is that infinite one, that divine creator. And I can turn to that power, and I can use that power consciously, creatively, intelligently, if I choose, right? But I can choose to use it. And how I use it is by the way I think or what I believe about life. So if I believe that what the doctor says is gospel, nothing can change that. I get to be right. If I believe the world is made up of really awful, terrible people and I need to be fearful, I get to be right. And if I believe that, illness is inevitable, I get to be right. Or I can believe that I'm part of something intelligent, creative, and fully present everywhere. I can choose to decide that I'm a powerful creative being, one with this divine presence. And in that oneness, I'm able to not change what is. However, I can change how I view it. I can look at the world from a different vantage point. So, for example, when I had my epiphany moment at age 27, that moment changed everything. When I walked into that church that night, I had this feeling of life isn't worth it. Everything's bad and then gets worse. There's no good in the world. Nobody loves me. Everybody's against me, and life is hell. That was my belief walking into that church that night. When I came out, I knew God is love. I had this moment of awareness, of awakening, of waking up, my eyes all of a sudden being open to seeing the possibility that there is more to life than I had believed possible. Now, that didn't change the challenges that were still occurring in my realm. There was still stuff going on. But how I was viewing that stuff was a little bit different, because I had this sense of my oneness with this divine presence, a presence that was all love, a presence that was just all light. Like there was nothing about it that would suggest them and us. There was nothing about it that would suggest, somebody was good and somebody else was bad. There was none of that. There was only this one sense of wholeness and wellness and love. That was the only thing that was there. And as I journeyed along, I had the opportunity to experience moments of grace that, frankly, at the time seemed purely miraculous. But when we come to understand that the universe is working for our good, we can resist it as long as we want, because we got free will. So we can mess with it. We can tweak it a little and make it worse. But there's always the option of going into a place of surrender at some point and allowing it to be better. And we have the power to do that. How I think about life determines if I name it good or bad or right or wrong. How I think about each moment and the energy I give to it. So I had an experience about 8 months after I'd had my spiritual epiphany. My husband had left me. My kids were, man, they were angry. They were a mess. They were fighting all the time. Life was hell. And I decided to pack it in. I decided I'm going to take my life because, frankly, I don't want to live like this. And I had everything in place, kids looked after, everything set up, and the phone rang as I was getting ready to leave the house. The phone rings. So I answered it. And it was a woman who sat behind me at church, 3 rows behind me. I'd never talked to her, never met her, didn't know her. But she phoned to say, "You've been on my mind." You've been on my mind. And I couldn't get her off the phone. And at some point in time, there was like a click inside of me that somehow, some way, this woman saved my life. I don't know what happened there. All I know is it wasn't my time, obviously. And she was the angel sent to deliver the message. We have a choice about life and living. We have a choice about what we believe or don't believe. And what I love most about this teaching is you have free will to believe whatever you want. You can believe the things that I say or that you read in the Science of Mind, what you read in the Daily Word, where you read in whatever daily inspiration, whatever materials you're reading, you get to believe what you want to believe. But whatever it is that you believe, that is what's moving the power into motion. That's what's moving your life forward. That's what's causing you to feel stuck. That's the piece of energy that is creating the world around you and moving you forward. You see, we each have the power to move that energy. I can't change what is because it's already been created, but by my thinking around this moment, I get to create my next moment in a way that maybe will flow with a greater sense of ease, with a greater sense of possibility, that maybe something will happen to interrupt my negativity, my frustrations or annoyance. Because when that moment happened for me at age 27, a ripple effect happened after that. That progressively, I became more and more of who I really am and stopped fighting life. You see, we have that choice. We can fight life right to the end if we want. We can fight it all the way. Or we can go into a place of surrender and awakened awareness where we acknowledge that there's this power in us. We acknowledge that we're one with the Creator. We know, as Ernest Holmes said, if we change our thinking, we can change our lives. We know that that can happen, and we begin to live from there. You see, it's all choice. There's so many choices. We get to choose how we view any given scenario. When I look at things happening around me that I'm not comfortable with, that I don't feel are right or just, I have a choice about how I think about that and deal with that. I can condemn the people who are doing bad things. I can condemn the situation. I can be angry at the world, or I can choose to infuse everything with light and love. I can choose to look at it from a different vantage point, to move into that state of consciousness where I allow myself to be that beacon of light, that I create a container, a sacred space for humanity to live in this way of love and peace and possibility. We have the ability within us to do great things. We really do. And for whatever reason, we've believed human beings that have told us we're not good enough, or we're not enough, or who do we think we are, or whatever stories we've gotten. You need to be thin, you need to be tall, you need to be. No, you don't need to be anything. You are already something. And what you are has been created absolutely perfectly. That who you are, the way you've been made, is made in the image and of the likeness of this infinite eternal presence. That means the intelligence, the power, the knowledge, all of it is available to you through you. Each one of us has the ability to be all that we were created to be. We have the ability to stand tall and strong. We have the ability to face life with a sense of purpose and passion for what we know is right. Not right by the standards of laws and stuff that the government has put in motion, or right by what your parents said was good or bad, but right in the sense at the core of your being. You know that what's right is right for all. It doesn't limit or separate or exclude, it includes. And so in that state of inclusivity, in that state of love and peace and possibility, as we begin to live from this highest sense of self as our highest possibility, we change the world. We change the world because there's only one thing going on. There's only one thing going on. And because there's only one thing going on, I'm a part of it. You're a part of it. What part are we playing? Are we playing as if we are mighty and strong, vibrant and vital? Or are we feeling small and less than, fearful, doubting? The journey of our spiritual practice, what's so powerful about it is as we do our practice every day, meditation, prayer, journaling, gratitude, forgiveness, as we do this practice, what it does, the practice of itself is nothing magical, but what it does is it changes the way we think. It enhances the ideas within us that there is a power for good in the universe, and we are using it to create our lives. Are we using it for good? Are we buying into the limitation, the stories we were told, or are we allowing ourselves to shine that light so bright that we were created to be this brilliant light in the world right now, bringing great love and peace and compassion and beauty to this planet, to the people, the animals, the plants, the all of it? Are we ready? Are we ready to be what we were created to be? That's the big question. Big question. Well, I have an affirmation for you that we can say together. Deja, I'll put it on the screen. And then we're going to go into meditation. So I invite you to say this with me, and I'd like you to say it, about 3 times in a row. I go within to connect with my source of power. I go within to connect with my source of power. I go within to connect with my source of power. And on that note, I invite you to just sit comfortably, to relax your body, take a deep breath in. And one more time, another deep breath. And as your body relaxes, I invite you to just imagine that there is a bright light at the center of your being, bright golden light. Imagine the brilliance of it, the warmth of it. Acknowledge that it is all powerful, that it is all knowing. And I invite you to just let that light spread throughout your body, firing up every cell, harmonizing every cell. And it is in that harmony that health and well-being are fully realized. Anything other than that is dismissed, and ease is acknowledged and expanded on. And as that energy expands within your body, I invite you to just let it spread out throughout your house, throughout your home, and even out into the streets. And just acknowledging that the universe is an abundant place. Everything that's needed, everything necessary for a fulfilled, successful, happy life is available right now in the form of friendship and love, in the form of health and well-being, in the form of creative expression or career, in the form of finances and money. All of it lit up with this divine light, this infinite creative potential. This all-powerful, all-knowing, this energy of oneness that connects us all. Imagine that light that has moved beyond your home, beyond your street, your walls, beyond the city, the country, the continent, beyond this planet. Just see that energy of infinite abundance and love and health and well-being, all of it touched by this radiant golden light. And as this energy just spreads out, touching life everywhere, notice how strong you feel, how light, how joyful, how peaceful. And as you begin to bring that energy back to your center core, just know that this energy is infinite in scope, eternal in nature, all-powerful, all-knowing, and fully accessible within each and every one of us. Taking a deep breath in and just bringing yourself back into this time and space and allowing this music to carry you forward.